Joe, do you know what privy means?
I do.
What does it mean?
It means that you are not, well, I know in my head what it means.
Okay, I'm kind of with you. So the Merriam-Webster definition,
yes.
That's to be one thing. But Doug Whaley said it 5 times today. 5 times in 39 minutes of a press conference. And he really was adamant that he was not involved in the Rex Ryan firing and that he doesn't think about it. Can we call nonsense on that?
Yeah, I think there's a few different takeaways from this Doug Whaley press conference. I mean, it was a press conference that fans and media alike were very much looking forward to, perhaps more so than any press conference really since the time Rex Ryan was introduced as head coach of the team. But that in itself, you know, he claimed to not have any responsibility for the hiring of Rex Ryan, which to this point we know to be true just because he wasn't the guy making the final call. Or now the firing of Rex Ryan. He said he didn't even have a hand in it. He was just told that it happened. And now we're led to believe that he doesn't even have a thought about whether or not Rex Ryan getting fired was the right move, or at least that's what he said today, which is just a head-scratching statement by the general manager. So to me, when you lay all this stuff out, whether we're talking about the GM's power and everything, it really calls into question about just how much power this general manager has here at One Bills Drive. I mean, you talk about GMs in other markets where you see them having the power to hire and fire a head coach, to make picks. I mean, we've heard rumblings of head coaches being able to make the picks over the GM, the owner choosing the coach, and not really much to do else. So for the Pegulas, it kind of reflects poorly on them, just because you have them kind of sitting out there without answering questions, and Doug Whaley sitting up there going, hey, well, it's not my call. I mean, it's really just, it creates more questions than answers, Matt.
So what I want to know is, and I know there are little tidbits of things that we did learn, but we just mentioned it. It was a 39-minute press conference, and I feel like it was 39 minutes of just dodging questions, and we didn't really learn anything. You said it was so highly anticipated. Thousands of people were watching on Facebook Live and on our app while it was going on, and we didn't really learn anything other than he'll be the one kind of leading the way on the head coaching search this year, which is different than how it's gone in the past.
However, he did slip a couple of times. I mean, there was one point in time where, you know, I said, all right, so you're not responsible for the firing, you're not responsible for the hiring, and you haven't thought about things. And what kind of power do you have? That's because from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like the GM has that much power, or at least has less power than what other teams operate with as far as their GMs are concerned. So when he was answering that question, he let out a little tidbit saying, hey, you know what? The Pegulas have the final call on the head coach, and that head coach is going to answer directly to the Pegulas. Just like it has been with Rex Ryan, which, you know, you have two schools of thought on it. I mean, it is their team. They can operate it how they want. But normally in successful NFL franchises, it goes owner yields power to the GM yields power to the coach, and it's that chain of command. It's not two separate entities only answering directly to the owner of the team. So there's a lot, like I said, it just creates that many more questions for the Pegulas as owners as to what's really going on here behind closed doors, and why is it that things can't get turned around when so many teams are fluctuating as much as they have in the NFL.
It makes me think if this is the same thing that they're doing over for the Sabres, because same ownership, because I want to know, does Dan Bylsma report to Tim Murray? Because that's the way it probably is for a lot of NHL teams, but when we look at what just happened behind us, maybe that's not the case. So we did talk a little bit about Anthony Lynn, and that he is one of the candidates, but this is an open search, and he was very adamant, at least he made it sound like he was very adamant, that Anthony Lynn is just one of many candidates, and he's going to look at all of them, and they're going to take their time because they don't want to make a mistake.
And honestly, if you're Anthony Lynn, do you want to come back? I mean that it's a head coaching job, but having a good glimpse of it and seeing everything that's kind of gone on over the past 4 weeks. Not only did they fire Rex Ryan, I mean, Rex Ryan has been someone that Anthony Lynn has been with for a long time now. He came with him to Buffalo from the New York Jets. I mean, he's been his right-hand man. Rex has gone to bat for him. Heck, we even learned today that Doug Whaley didn't even recommend Lynn for the interim head coach job. That was the fired Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
So Rex Ryan had more of a say in the interim head coach than Doug Whaley did. I mean, are we not? It's a picture of dysfunction. And that's why fans deserve answers from the owners of the team as to what's going on.
I know at this point we would kind of be guessing, but that's okay to do. Do you think Anthony Lynn is going to be the head coach? I know there's a lot of reports that say it is his job to lose. To me, it seems like I think they're going to bring him back. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't have a good read on the situation as to, especially with what's gone on over the past week or so. What happened with Rex Ryan and how they kind of thrust Anthony Lynn into the spotlight without answering any questions from the front office or the ownership about why they fired Rex Ryan and left him to go out to do it.
Yeah.
And giving him only 5 days to prepare. I mean, these are all, and handing him saying, all right, you have to go play this game with E.J. Manuel and Cardale Jones, best of luck. I mean, that's not exactly a conducive environment, and he is a guy that is going to get interviews. We've already seen the Rams and 49ers have both reached out wanting interviews with him, so Doug Whaley was very clear in saying it's an open search. I actually believe him there.
Do you think it would be a good fit if they go with him? That'll be the last thing I ask you.
Yes. I like the idea of hiring someone that has a fresh perspective on how to be a head coach in the league as opposed to, this guy did it this way. I mean, it's just a retread after retread. So I like that idea. I like the fact that he's a disciplinarian, especially coming after Rex Ryan and kind of the way he kind of ran things at One Bills Drive. But all in all, it's really all dependent on, A, who the quarterback is going to be, and B, can you get a defensive coordinator, especially if it's Anthony Lynn, who's an offensive guy, to fix the defense? Because, the Associated Press talked to Terry Pegula, and they said one of the major reasons Rex Ryan was fired, he had no choice but to fire Rex Ryan because the defense didn't show signs of progress. So if you're hiring Anthony Lynn, you better be sure that he has someone in line to potentially come in and fix this defense to the point where we don't have to be sitting here talking about inconsistent efforts from one week to the next.
No kidding. All right, Joe, thank you so much for your analysis. He's obviously got much more right below on the video. It was a crazy day down here at One Bills Drive. I think it was even crazier than we probably anticipated. So thank you for tuning in. And until next time, for Joe B, I'm Matt Bove. We'll see you guys later.